In the previous lecture, we have seen Django's admin user model. Now, in this lecture, we'll see how to create login view. So, we have seen user register form. Now, we'll see user login form. So, we need to define class user login form, and here this is a little bit tricky, but we need to pass args and double star keyword args. So okay, what is args and keyword args? You can Google it out, but the major difference is that if I pass this just like a list of something, list of anything, just like 1 2 3 4 and so on, right? So this is arguments, and if I pass something like dictionary and just like key comma colon value comma key 2 colon value 2, fine. So this is a keyword args. That means args means that the non keywordable arguments, and KW args means keyword args. That means key keywordable argument, just like key and value. So this is KW args and this is args. So this is basically a main difference of this keyword args, and we need to pass it over here because of the login form. Username is equal to self, and we need to get the username. So self dot not self, but we need to specify the form dot care field, and password. We need two fields, username and password. So forms dot care field, and we need to specify the label, not label but widget for the password. Fine. So widget is equal to forms dot password input. Great. And after that we need to define our clean method as we have defined in the register form to get the cleaned data. Excuse me, I made a mistake over here, as we passed this format in the class, so little bit confused, but don't be, just forms dot form. Okay, so why I haven't used model form? Because in this login form we are not going to use this model. So whenever you use model or any fields, then you need to specify model form, and if you are not using any model, then specify just only form. So fine. And here args and star keyword arg. Fine. So great. And again we need to get username, self dot clean data dot get. We need to get username. Great. And just copy and paste password, and we need to get password as well. Fine. So we got the username and password. Now we need to check if username and password is exist. Then if username and password, then we'll go to the authenticate the user, or username is equal to username and password is equal to password. Fine. So we authenticated, and authenticate means to check the user that username is exist or not, password is exist or not, or they are correct or not. So this is basically the authentication. And if not user, then will raise error, raise validation error, not validation but forms dot validation error, and will provide the message this the user is not exist, the user is not exist. Yes, fine, the user is not exist. Wait, fair enough. And after that we need to check the password. So if user dot check password, this is the field which is provided by the Django. This is the function. So we need to check the password. So user dot check underscore password. If not user underscore check underscore password, fine, then we need to raise a validation error and just copy and paste it, and just like invalid password. Fine. After that, we need to check that the user is active or not. So if not user dot is underscore active, then again raise validation error and specify message the user is no longer active. Fine. So great. So this is how we can provide the details of the users, and after that we need to return something which is called a return super. Super is the keyword to call this function itself. So we need to specify the super keyword to return the data which we have passed in the login form. So we need to return clean data. So all the arguments which is passed over here, args and keyword args. Fair enough. Okay, great. So this is what we want in the forms.py. Now we'll move to the views.py, and in views.py we need to specify a function of login view. Login, this is the name. You can give it whatever you want, so just login name and request, and fine. So we need to specify next over here as well to make sure the user is giving the correct input, and get next. Okay, fine. So again form is equal to user login form, not register but user login form. So to use this we need to inherit this, we need to import this user login form from the dot forms, and find user login form and request dot post or none. Fine. So after that, if form dot is valid, fine. So if form is valid, username is equal to form dot clean data dot get. What we want to get is username. Fine. And after that, copy and paste it, and what we want to get is password, and okay, fine. So we got the password, and after password we need to authenticate the user. Is user authenticate username is equal to username comma password is equal to password. Fine. We have authenticated the user, and after that we need to check if next exists, then we need to return redirect to the next. Fine. So or else return redirect to the slash. Fine. After that we need to pass the context, but we are not going to pass the context, but we are going to pass it in the return itself. So return render request, and after request just I am giving the login form login.html and context, but just passing the dictionary just like form. Fine. So this is our login view form. After that we need to log in to that user just like request and user. Okay, fine. So okay, we here no need to save the data into the database, because we are not going to save the data at the login time, so no need to save the data over here. And we need to specify we need to create a login template. So let me create it, login. Fine. So just include percentage include in base.html, and after that we need to specify. Let me copy the register form and paste it. Here I'm using login. Fine, fair enough. So I need to specify the URL over here and just copy and paste login, specify the login over here as well. So login and login view. Okay, great. So I have created URL as well, and in the base.html we need to specify the URL that we want to go at this URL. So login and just need to specify the login. Fine, great. And okay, great. So and just login and go to the login template. Does not exist. We have created our login template, and yep, great, we got our login page. So if I logged out from here and refresh the page, it will give me a username page, and if I log in from the user credentials and again login, fine, and I refresh the page, great. So we have created our login page, and we are solving this issue, are not comfortable with this home page. So we are not comfortable with this home page, so let's just go to the URL and just specify in the base.html, not base.html but urls.py of the main app, and we want our URL, our base URL as home. So I am specifying only dollar over here and home, just like specify the name home, fine, and we need to just specify home over here, which is already there, but I don't want this home anymore, but I want return request, not request but render, or you can say it redirect to the where we want to go, just slash. Okay, fine. So just refresh it and okay, fine. So there is some cookie error, but no worries. Return render to the request and just specify base.html and a blank context. So that's it, fair. And if you have any doubt, let us know, otherwise keep going. We have seen how to create login view. In next lecture we'll see how to create logout view